You know this manager. They are the first to arrive and the last to leave. They answer emails at midnight, work through the weekends, and constantly swoop in to save struggling projects before a deadline. We call them the overtime hero. Corporate culture praises and rewards this behavior. Performance reviews frame constant availability as a display of dedication, and colleagues view this self-sacrifice as proof of strong leadership. But this chart tells a different story. When we contrast the perceived success of these hero leaders against the macroeconomic data, a severe crisis emerges. 56% of corporate executives currently report experiencing severe burnout. Burnout shatters efficiency for 72% of professionals. When these high-capacity individuals finally reach their breaking point and leave, they take the organization's entire operational capacity with them. This cycle of attrition has already caused 43% of enterprise organizations to lose at least half of their entire leadership teams. Sacrificing personal well-being to absorb a team's workload does not strengthen an organization. It engineers a fragile system teetering on the brink of collapse. This collapse results from a compulsive psychological pattern known as rescue addiction, a compulsive need for the leader to step in and solve every problem themselves. We can see the bottleneck on this network map. When a leader is constantly available to solve problems, the team nodes route their tasks entirely through one central point. This caps the entire team's capability at the exact limit of the leader's personal stamina. This dynamic breeds a dependency culture. When the leader is always there to catch the falling pieces, independent problem-solving is quietly discouraged. This helpfulness punishes strength and incentivizes weakness. By refusing to let the team struggle, the most dedicated leader turns themselves into a catastrophic single point of failure. To understand how this breaks an organization, we have to examine the micro-interactions of toxic help. It starts with small habits, like a manager stepping in to finish a struggling employee's sentence, or taking over a frustrating task to save time. In the exact moment the leader intercepts the struggle and provides the answer, they rob the employee of the friction required for the learning process. Look at this diagram of a neural pathway attempting to connect a problem to a solution. When an external intervention cuts across it, the pathway snaps. The employee's independent problem-solving muscles literally atrophy. This repeated intervention conditions the team to view any friction as an emergency requiring external rescue. It creates learned helplessness at an enterprise scale. Optimizing for immediate comfort and rapid crisis resolution secretly guarantees the creation of much more severe crises in the future. Modern corporate environments enthusiastically applaud and financially reward reactive heroics far more than they value proactive fire prevention. This feeds the indispensability complex. This is an ego-driven psychological trap, where a leader begins to base their professional worth on being the only person in the room capable of solving complex problems. This comparison maps the data. On the left is the reactive hero mindset, prioritizing immediate comfort, resulting in stagnant growth. On the right is the sustainable mindset, utilizing strategic discomfort to force an upward trajectory in team capability. Until a leader relinquishes the ego boost of being the savior, the organization cannot scale and will remain structurally weak. Survival requires a transition to anti-fragile systems. Organizations must replace soft compassion with strength-building accountability. This begins with the anti-rescue protocol. The hardest step for a hero leader is stopping the instinct to solve problems that belong to someone else. When confronted with a crisis, leaders must adopt a specific conversational pivot. Instead of providing the answer, they must ask, what would handling this independently look like? Strength-building compassion requires loving non-intervention. You must let people experience the friction required to find their own solutions. Distributed excellence is a mandatory structural shift. It moves the organization from a model of individual rescue to one of hard-coded operational survival. Watch this network map undergo an operational stress test. To force capability, you cap workloads, mandate teaching overdoing, and run simulations where key leaders are intentionally absent. The central node vanishes, and instead of collapsing, the smaller nodes draw connections to each other. These structural shifts form the foundation of management consultant Wesley Paterson's upcoming book, The Hero's Rope. Paterson's titular metaphor summarizes the reality of modern leadership. The greatest managers do not sacrifice themselves to carry their people across the rushing river of corporate challenges. The objective of true leadership is to build the rope, teach the team how to cross independently, and architect a system where the leader is ultimately no longer needed.